It's been a long time coming and wouldn't have been possible without the support of the community. But finally, the Pioneer House welcomed its first resident yesterday. Brittany Matika has more.
Masardi Wildermuth was surrounded by her 3 daughters as she moved into her new home.
Very exciting. Mom is moving into the Pioneer House. Very good. Awesome place. We've had a wonderful orientation from the new staff.
Wildermuth spent her life in Maidstone and moved into the Pioneer Lodge in 2011.
She is a local lady. Her kids live locally. Very active members in her life and in our lodge. And Masardi took a tumble, and now her needs is such that we couldn't meet them at the lodge.
In the last couple of years, it's been exciting. We've seen the Lloydminster Continuing Care open, and so that did help relieve some of the pressure. But there was so many families that had to send their loved ones away and have just been waiting. And so it's literally everybody that's been sent away is coming home.
Pioneer House has 44 beds as a designated supportive Level 4 and 4D care facility, which means residents have extra security and support. The Lloydminster Health Foundation has been working on fundraising for the project.
They estimate we've got about 1.3 million raised. We need just over 2 million, so we've got a ways to go. But this community has always been supportive.
Seniors like Wildermuth will be calling Pioneer House home for many years to come, a relief to her daughters now that this facility is open in Lloydminster.
She might have had to go out of town because she had fallen in May and cracked her wrist and cracked pelvis, and she is ready for a little more care.
Brittany Matika, Newcap News.
A change to this year's Colonial Days parade route has been made. The construction downtown was the initial reason for the change of the route to 44th Street, but that is no longer the case.
After re-examining the route and looking at all the factors that go into that, we've decided to move the route to 46th Street. It was made for a number of reasons, safety and the availability for people to view the route in comfort.
City crew members will be out in the morning setting up barricades and ensuring the safety of all of those attending the parade.
Whenever you're in a large group of people and there's vehicles around, keep an eye on your small children. Make sure that you cross at the corners. Don't run in front of the floats. Their visibility is limited. So just making sure that you know where you're at and you know where vehicles are.
The parade will take place Wednesday at 10 a.m. CKSA is broadcasting the event live starting at 10:15. Well, in light of the heat wave scorching the prairies, health officials are reminding people to stay hydrated, avoid long periods in the sun, and not to forget sunscreen. In addition to making sure there are no areas of skin left unprotected, applying sunscreen liberally and often is the recommendation.
People tend to apply a thin layer, but we're actually looking probably more for a handful across the back, across the arms, across the legs, and then applied frequently, probably every 2 to 3 hours, depending on the activities that you're doing.
That frequent reapplication is especially important when dealing with water.
So if you're doing high intensity activities, or if it's a really hot day and you're sweating, the sweat can also take away the sunscreen's effects. So reapply while sweating in the water and reapply liberally throughout the day often.
Malik says look for sunscreen between 30 and 60 SPF. Well, Colonial Days kicks off next week and the grand opening of the North Bend Hall is this weekend. Brian Lentz has all of the information in this week's edition of What's Happening.
Well, we're only a few sleeps away from Colonial Days here in Lloydminster, and that means pretty soon people will be streaming through these gates up to the Lloyd-X grounds. It kicks off on the 12th with a parade, ends on the 15th with fireworks, and in between there's good food, there's concerts, there's egg shows, there's the rodeo, anything you could possibly think of here at the Lloyd-X, and it's just $15 for adults to get in. Kids are $12, and anyone that's under 12 is free. And if you're looking for some old-time music this weekend, then stop by the North Bend Hall grand reopening this Saturday at the North Bend Hall. Everything kicks off at 2 p.m. There's dinner at 5:30, and the 50-50 grand prize draw is at 6 p.m. And it's going to be a hot few days here in Lloydminster, so why not cool off inside while listening to some cool tunes? You can win any of these or all of these CDs featuring Bob Marley, Chris Stapleton, Little Big Town, Barry Manilow, anything you could possibly wish for. Just send us your name and daytime number at tvcontests@newcap.ca and you can win all of these. As always, we'd like to thank John with Universal Music Canada for setting us up with the music. Well, if you still have some room for food after the opening of Colonial Days, then stop by the City Hall Pancake Breakfast. It takes place July 13th from 7 to 10 a.m. and it's free pancakes. What's not to like? Well, whatever you choose to do this week, I hope you have a good one. I'm Brian Lentz, and that is what's happening.
We're through the first week of July, and that means Lloydminster property taxes are overdue. Anyone who hasn't paid their taxes is now accruing interest on their bill. Of the nearly 12,000 taxable properties in the city, only 88% had paid by the June 30th deadline.
Any taxes that were outstanding as of July 1st would receive a 1% penalty, and that penalty will continue monthly until the end of December.
Before their taxes go into arrears on January 1st, residents have a few options to pay.
You can still pay through our online services on our website as well, or you can come to our cashier at the City Hall.
If you have any questions about your taxes, call City Hall or visit lloydtaxes.ca.
This is Newcap Sports.
Last night was Lloydminster's Ladies League fastball championships, and it had a bit of everything. Great hits, great plays, excellent pitching, and as Lance Phillips shows us, a familiar winner of the league's top prize.
Another season of Ladies League fastball has come and gone, and for the second straight year, the Lloydminster Senior Liners will have their name on the championship trophy after a dominant 13-1 win over the Maidstone Iron Maidens. It finished off a year in which the Senior Liners added more depth and built on their successful 2016 campaign.
Dedication to the game, actually, and the love for the game brought this team a long ways this year. They just kept working hard, and they just did what they wanted to do. They accomplished what they set out in their goals and just worked for it.
Working together and practicing most of the time. Practice once a week and always have the league game.
Definitely working as a team together, practicing a lot, the dedication and all that.
And that dedication helped the team to not only a league title, but also a second place provincial finish last weekend in Wainwright. And it's quite an accomplishment when you consider where the team started.
I'm pretty proud of the team about it. We've come a long way from the start. Like in the beginning, in our first tournament, we came from winning one game to winning pretty much every game in provincials. And
over the past years, I think the Liners have accomplished better than in the past, so second is pretty good, and then just strive for better every year going forward.
Very proud of them because they stuck with it right to the last pitch, and I mean we ran into a hot pitcher. We played good defense all weekend. We hit the ball good on Saturday, and we just ran into a very hot pitcher that had a lot of good stuff, and we just couldn't solve her. So.
And for Tupper, the third-year intermediate coach believes he's right where he belongs.
This keeps me going, to be honest with you. I mean, I played as long as I could, and when I couldn't play anymore, my kids brought me into the coaching, and I've been coaching a long time. Like, I've coached for probably 12 years or maybe even longer, and I honestly don't know what I'd do if I wasn't coaching. I still love the game.
And you don't need to look any further than to the group of women Tupper shares the field with to see his love of the game is contagious. Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.